You know, in the world of high-end aesthetic medicine, the very best practices aren't just selling treatments, they're selling a future. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the playbook they use to turn a single procedure into a lifelong and, yeah, a very profitable patient journey. So let me ask you this. When is a great painting actually finished? When is a piece of software perfectly coded? The reality is, done is usually just a milestone, not the final destination. And it's that exact idea that's completely changing the business of aesthetic medicine.
And that leads us right into the biggest challenge these practices face, what we're calling the completion problem. It's this fundamental flaw in the old way of doing things, where a great result for the patient often meant, well, the end of the line for the business.
Think about it. The second a patient feels like their treatment plan is finished, they check out mentally. The follow-up calls just don't happen, the time between visits stretches from months into years, and that revenue stream, it just walks right out the door. The end of the service becomes the end of the relationship.
So what's the fix for this revolving door? Well, the top-tier practice has figured out it's not about better ads or discounts. It's about changing the goal entirely. They call it infinite optimization. Basically, shifting the whole game from a finite goal to an endless journey of improvement. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got the old model, a finish line. But on the right, you see the new one. It's like a staircase that just keeps going up. It's not about a single treatment anymore. Nope. It's about hitting one level of excellence, which then just becomes the starting point for the next one.
And this right here is the absolute core of the entire strategy. It's all about progress, never ever completion. Every single interaction, from the first consultation to the follow-up email, is carefully designed to frame the result not as we're done, but as we've successfully moved on to the next phase.
Okay, so how do they make this journey feel so natural, so compelling for the patient? Well, it all comes down to the art of persuasion. Now we're going to move from the big picture strategy to the specific language and psychological triggers they actually use in the room. This quote is just a masterclass in this kind of language. I mean, listen to it. Notice what it does. It completely avoids words like finished or done. It makes the patient feel great by saying phase 1 is complete. But in the very same breath, it swings the door wide open to the future with, let's discuss phase 2. The conversation literally never has to stop. And the timing here is absolutely everything. This isn't about being a pushy salesperson. It's about strategically using those moments of peak satisfaction. So when a patient is standing there, looking in the mirror, and they are thrilled with their results, that is the exact moment to introduce the next logical step. You're not selling them something, you're planning the next phase of their journey together, and you're booking that next appointment while their excitement is through the roof. Now what's fascinating is there's a real psychological principle behind all this. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. And what it means is that our brains are basically wired to remember unfinished tasks way better than finished ones. So by framing this aesthetic plan as an ongoing journey, the task always stays psychologically open. It keeps the patient thinking about their goals and about the practice long after they've left the office.
But look, these clever tactics aren't just used randomly. They're all part of a much bigger comprehensive system. And this is where the art of persuasion really becomes the science of engineering the journey.
The key is to make the journey official, to give it structure. So instead of just throwing out ideas here and there, the leading practices create these detailed plans with very clear levels. This makes the whole path of continuous improvement feel logical, planned out, and professional, not just like a string of random sales pitches. And here's a perfect example of what that kind of framework actually looks like. A new patient might come in at level 1, foundation, basic skincare and maintenance. Once they're happy with that, moving to level 2, enhancement, to work on a specific area, feels like the most natural thing in the world. And from there, the path is already laid out, guiding them right through optimization, transformation, and all the way up to what they call mastery. It's a clear, predictable, and very profitable roadmap.
But here's the really important part. This playbook, it's not just for aesthetic medicine, not by a long shot. It's a model for what you could call the never-ending story, a huge shift in how businesses think about their customers.
When you boil it all down, what we're looking at is a truly genius business model. It changes the entire relationship from I'm providing you a one-time service to I am facilitating an infinite process of engagement. When you get rid of the finish line, you don't just get a happy customer, you create a customer for life.
And that really brings us to the final thought, and it's a little unsettling. This model is absolutely everywhere. It's in the next show your streaming service tees up for you. It's in the next achievement your fitness app sets for you. These infinite journeys are being designed around us every single day. So the real question is, now that you see it, can you ever unsee it?